I think the international community understands by and large what our objectives were in modifying Article 370. I think as you explained to them that this was a temporary provision, which is not something which often I don't see that word used so often in the analysis of events. But when you tell people, look, this is the history of Article 370, that it was a temporary provision. The meaning of the word temporary is that it has to come to an end. That this provision had actually become dysfunctional, that it was being arbitraged by a narrow set of people for their own gains, and that by doing that they were impeding development, and that lack of development was feeding a sense of separatism, and that separatism actually has been utilized by Pakistan to carry out cross-border terrorism. I think most people do understand that flow of logic out there. And if you pose to them this question that, look, here's an incoming government. An incoming government, what does it do? It has two choices. Either it continues the policies of the last 30 odd years, and the casualties, the costs of all of that. So we know what didn't work for 30 years. So choice one is what did not work should be continued for the future. Or choice two is try and do something very differently and try to change the landscape and find actually more effective answers for what is a very challenging situation.
Diplomacy is largely, not exclusively, an intergovernmental exercise. Okay. So most of the people I deal with directly are people in the government. So that was broadly what I was referring to out there. Having said that, of course, we all know how important press is, including press of other countries. So now, in terms of how the reporting is going, look, people are entitled to have views. Someone like me is entitled to have views on their views. And I've noticed two things. One, a point I made earlier, that I have very rarely seen a story from anybody which brings out the fact that 370 was a temporary provision of the Constitution. In fact, it's interesting. All of you need to Google this and see, how many people actually have reported that. Because somewhere that is at the heart of the issue. Similarly, it's made out sometimes as though we did something on August 5th which terribly complicated a situation, with the assumption that things were normal and happy before August 5th. Now, you all know the situation in Jammu and Kashmir before August 5th. And yesterday before the Honorable Supreme Court, the government laid out the situation with very graphic and very disturbing numbers. So this and see, how many people actually have reported that. Because somewhere that is at the heart of the issue. Similarly, it's made out sometimes as though we did something on August 5th which terribly complicated a situation, with the assumption that things were normal and happy before August 5th. Now, you all know the situation in Jammu and Kashmir before August 5th. And yesterday before the Honorable Supreme Court, the government laid out the situation with very graphic and very disturbing numbers. So I think people, I don't want to make this sound like a criticism, but my observation as a very avid follower and reader of the media would be that, it would be fair to take some of these facts into account. If you're reporting something very serious, to do the necessary diligence for that. Not make sweeping judgments necessarily based on what is a momentary impression at the moment. But having said that, this I would say there's a variety of reporting. I would not paint everybody with the same brush. But I have seen, there would be a certain segment of reporting for which my observations will apply.
Thank you.